Hey, it's Jessica, and I'm here with my pigs, and it's Furry Frenzy, and it's Wednesday, and it's my time to do my video, which is the mistakes video, and the pigs are off loose bedding. If you're on my personal channel, you knew they were on loose bedding for about 4 or 5 days. That was a pain in the butt to get out, but it's gone, and they're happy. So basically, we will get into things that I've learned from. I think the major one was when I first got Trixie and Abby. I had them on the same shavings I had my hamsters on, which at the time was pine, but I thought it was at least killed dried pine, because back then there's a lot of controversy over. Some people were like, kill dried pine is fine, but you know, obviously if it's not dried that way, it's not fine. So I figured the pine that I was using was safe, but it wasn't. It was totally not kiln dried, because I finally looked up the brand and read everything on the bag. It was like this huge bag, and it definitely wasn't. So they were on disgusting pine for a little bit, and so were my hamsters, but they're not on anymore either. So that's, I think, is the biggest. I think that's the biggest mistake, because that could have caused some serious respiratory issues, but it didn't. The second one would be with Daisy when we first got her. We didn't baby-proof the loft, because as you know, when I first got Daisy, she was in just a 2x2 loft, because we got her unexpectedly, and I didn't know exactly what sex she was, so I wasn't going to put her in with Abby and Trixie. So she was so small that her whole body fit through one of these grids. We were there and we caught her, and she didn't get hurt and whatever, but we didn't baby-proof it until after that event happened. So yes, if you have a pig that's that young, you need a baby-proof. Whether you're putting up, what we did is we had boxes, so we put up cardboard, and that solved the problem. There's Lily. So that was a mistake. I know I've never done intros properly, but I don't know if I would call that a mistake or whatever. That's the way I do things, and it's always been fine. I introduced Lily and Daisy together. I just kind of put Lily with her. I didn't drop her in the cage. We had her at least out for a lap time, but then I plopped her in the cage. But you know, they were fine. You can tell by their reaction to each other in the floor time that they were very much happy to be with each other. So, and when we created this massive cage, we couldn't really do the intros of the two babies with Trixie and Abby properly, because we had nowhere to do it, so we just kind of stuck them in, and luckily Trixie and Abby are very patient ladies, and they just, you know, for the most part, leave them alone. None of my pigs are that bonded as Carrie's, where you see them cuddling together. None of my pigs have ever cuddled together. This is what they do. They all hang out in their own little spot. Look at Trixie. So other than that, I don't really know what other mistakes I did. I knew about not feeding alfalfa hay for my adults, so I didn't do that. I had the right pellets. I started on Oxbow, and then I switched off Oxbow to the little Martins, so I did have a little bit of play with the pellets as well as I was learning, because even Oxbow kind of has a high calcium content. It's really hard to find really good pellets, especially if you're Canadian, so it's not really a mistake as it is just what happens. So I'm trying to think of what else. It's not really a mistake, but I'll confess to it. I don't trim Lily and Daisy as often as I should. As you can see, they both need a butt trim. It's a pain in the butt. So if anything, I'm going to do Lily first, because she's usually good and just lets us do it. I can do it alone. Don't need help with her. Well, Daisy is the jumper. She jumps around, which makes it impossible to do, because you don't want to hurt her. So, yeah, sorry that my mistakes video isn't too entertaining. So basically, like I said, the pine was the major no-no. And I got rid of that, and I haven't been on that. When they had the loose bedding for the past 5 days, they were on aspen, which even then I didn't like the smell of. I just don't like the smell of the wood in the room, especially when you have this big of a cage to cover. It just kind of takes over. All you smell is wood. So, but they were on Aspen, which is safe. So now they're chilling out, back with their fleece. So if you have any questions about my video and whatever I talked about, go ahead and ask, and look forward to everybody else's video to come. And thanks for watching. And subscribe to Furry Frenzy so you won't miss anybody in the week. Bye-bye.